All right, this lesson is to eliminate fractions and decimals from equations. The first thing I want to do is make sure my whole numbers are written as a fraction. And put 3 over 1. And then I'm going to find a common denominator. 3 times 4 is 12. 2 will go into 12, so that's going to be my multiply by number. I'm not changing the denominators though. Instead, I'm going to multiply every single term by the number 12. So here we go. 12 over 1 times 2/3 x plus 12 over 1 times 1/2 plus 12 over 1 times 3/4 x equals 12 over 1 times 3/4 plus 12 over 1 times x over 3 plus 12 over 1 times 3 over 1. Now the next thing that I'm going to do is cross reduce. Cross reduce. 3 will go into itself 1 time. 3 will go into 12 4 times. 4 times 2 is 8, so I have 8x. Plus 2 will go into itself 1 time. 2 will go into 12 6 times. 6 times 1 is 6. 4 will go into itself 1 time. 4 will go into 12 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9, and that has an x attached to it. 4 will go into itself 1 time. 4 will go into 12 3 times. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 will go into itself 1 time. 3 will go into 12 4 times. 4 times x is 4x. And the last one, 12 times 3 is 36. All right, now you have a nice looking equation that you can just combine like terms. 8 plus 9 is 17. So I have 17x plus 6 equals 9 and 36 are 45. Oh, that's a negative 36. Look at that. Negative 36. So negative 36 and 45 is negative 27 plus 4x. Good thing we caught that. So negative 27 plus 4x. So I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. 17 minus 4 is 13. So I have 13x plus 6 equals negative 27. I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. 13x equals negative 33. Divide by 13. X equals a negative 33 over 13. And just leave that as your answer. Okay. Now let's do one where we're going to eliminate the decimals. Eliminate the decimals. Same concept, except that you want to find the largest decimal place value. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So the largest decimal place value is 1,000. Notice this has 3 zeros. So because this has 3 zeros, that tells me that I can move my decimals 1, 2, 3 places to the right. So that's what I'm going to do to every single term. Every single term. 1, 2, 3 places. That means this number actually becomes 1,350x. Okay? 1, 2, 3 places minus 450 plus 1, 2, 3, 700x equals 1, 2, 3, negative 3,500x plus 1, 2, 3, 255. All right, again, I'm going to combine like terms. I have a negative 700 and a negative 1,350. That equals negative 650x minus 450 equals, on the other side, negative 3,500x plus 255. I'm going to add 650x to both sides. So when I do that, I have negative 450 equals 0 minus 0 is 0, borrow, 10 minus 5 is 5, borrow again, 14 minus 6 is 8, that's a negative, equals negative 2,850x plus 255. I'm going to subtract 255 from both sides. When I do that, I have 5, 10, 7. Negative 705 equals negative 2,850x. Okay, so now we're going to divide both sides by negative 2,850x. Sorry, not the x. 2,850 divided by negative 2,850. So I'm looking at this right here. First of all, I know a negative divided by a negative is a positive, but this can also be divided by 5. When I take 705 and I divide it by 5, I get 141. So I'm going to put this over here. So x equals 141 over, then I need to take 2,850 and divide it by 5 over 570. Now I want to look, is this divisible by anything else? Well, I know that 1 plus 4 plus 1 is 6. That's divisible by 3. 5 plus 7 is 12 is also divisible by 3, so I'm going to divide by 3. 141 divided by 3 equals 47. And 570 divided by 3 equals 190. So this is actually the value of x. Okay. Last example is something like this. Now the trick to having fractions when you want to eliminate them is if you have fractions multiplied by a product here, this quantity, you have to distribute first. You have to distribute first. So let's go ahead and do that. So I have 2/5 times x minus 2/5 times 4 over 1 equals 1/2. So I end up with 2/5 x minus 8/5 equals 1/2. All right. So the next thing I want to do is, like I did before, find a common denominator. Let's see. Let's try 10. So let's try multiplying every single term by 10. 10 over 1 times 2/5 x minus 10 over 1 times 8/5 equals 10 over 1 times 1/2. You have to remember to multiply every term. And then we're going to cross reduce. 5 will go into itself one time. 5 will go into 10 two times. 2 times 2 is 4, and that has an x term on it. 5 will go into itself one time. 5 will go into 10 two times. 2 times 8 is 16 equals 2 will go into itself one time. 2 will go into 10 5 times equals 5. So I really have 4x minus 16 equals 5. I'm going to add 16 to both sides. So now I have 4x equals 21. Divide both sides by 4. X equals 21 over 4. Just leave it like that. And that's all you do.